Hey, everybody, it's Robert C. Stern with The Social Leader. Thanks for joining us on this wonderful blab during the beginning of 2016. I can't believe it's here. And with 2016 here, everybody's kind of looking forward what they're going to be doing this year and social strategies and everything else. And I could not think of anybody else to start this year off than this friend of mine. I have to say friend. Rebekah Radice. How are you?
I am fantastic. I can't believe that the new year is here. Like you said, 2016. When did this happen?
Yeah, I'm still in the 1990s. No.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we're going to go back, I'd probably rather go to the 80s.
Well, the music.
The 90s will do.
Well, yeah, that's true. But
yeah.
It's funny because I was thinking about an hour ago, and I'm like, all right, I want to get set up and get a few things, and it's been a crazy year with social media, and we'll go over all that stuff and everything else. And I'm sitting there going, when did I meet Rebekah? And I actually know the exact time.
You do? Oh, wow. Okay, because I was trying to tell somebody that today on my team, and I could not actually remember. So I'm glad you did.
When you took the job, I don't remember what year it was. It was when you took the job with Better
Homes and Garden. Yeah.
When you were working with Chris.
Yep.
And I remember that's when we hooked up on Facebook and we started chatting a little bit.
Wow. So that was 2008?
I figured it was 7 years, somewhere in that range.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my goodness. I did not realize it had been that long. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's because it was you were at Better Homes and Katie was kind of with Inman.
Yeah.
And Deborah was still up at Coldwell Banker Bain.
Coldwell Banker, yeah.
And I was a realtor out here because that was our connection, the four of us.
Yeah.
All in the real estate industry, and we all just got smart and got out.
How funny. Yeah. Time flies, doesn't it?
I know.
My goodness.
So you've had an interesting time since then. I mean, you
I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, I don't know a lot about you prior to Better Homes.
Okay.
And that's why I thought I'd start just a little bit to let people know just a little bit more about you. What were you doing before Better Homes? Because you were social media director, manager at Better Homes. And but prior to that, what were you doing?
Well, prior to that, I was on my own. So for the better part of my life, I have been an entrepreneur. And for a span there, I really felt as if I wanted to get the corporate experience. I'll back up just a little bit and give you a little bit more history. So my first career, as I call it, was morning radio. Started in morning radio, which is where I met my hubby. And did that for a decade, and then got smart and realized, what the heck am I doing getting up at 3 a.m., to do drive time every single morning. And at that point, there was this shift, I think, going on in my life where I was really looking for something new, something completely different. And in walked the mortgage and real estate industry, which was so funny. Dean and I happened to be buying our first home together at the time. And it just all kind of culminated into this, wow, this sounds like something I could really, really enjoy. Mm-hmm. And so we actually ended up buying a mortgage company, and over a 10-year, probably 12-year span, he and I built that up together. And so we started with one location, ended up with 4 different locations, over 100 employees. And as you can imagine, things evolved over the years, and I was heavily focused on the marketing side. Marketing has always been my passion and my background. And it was interesting for me to see how things started to rapidly change with what, now we call blogging. Of course, it wasn't really blogging at the time, maybe online journaling. And I started my first blog in 2004 at the dawn of social media. And it really started to see the transformation that being able to connect in that way with people could make or have on your business. And so within the mortgage and real estate space, I started to focus all of my energy and attention on training, helping people really understand how to use a website, use a blog, use social media. That started to really become a thing, in those early days. And it was exciting times. It was fun to get in on what I now know, was definitely the ground floor. And as I started to move that direction, once again, that entrepreneur spirit in me, I guess, started to feel the tug in a new direction. And at that point, we decided to pretty much, you said it, about being burnt out in that industry. And I was a little worn out. I think I was a little tired. I was traveling all the time at that point, from one location to the next. And it was just this perfect opportunity, perfect storm, I guess, of going to work for Better Homes and Gardens, which was really at that point building up. Yeah, they were brand new. Yeah. The beta brand, the new boy on the block, and
which is so weird.
Yeah,
that they were like so new and getting into franchising and all that stuff. Yeah. And that was 2008 when the market already started downward because of the mortgage and with everything that was going on. And I'm like, wait a minute, NRT and Realogy just invested all this money into a new real estate version? It was kind of weird in the concept of common sense, focus on the Coldwell Banker and the Century 21 and the ERAs that you had, but they went off and opened up a new one. Right.
And it's been enormously successful. And so again, I felt like, we sold the company and I was in this state of flux of what do I want to do with my life? What do I want to do when I grow up? And
don't grow up.
Yeah, no, I can't with the husband I have. It will never, ever happen.
Your Wi-Fi is going a little off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, it's like freezing a little, and then it speeds up and catches up.
We have terrible weather.
You want to refresh? You want to refresh?
Sure. You want me to pop out?
Yeah, refresh it so this way. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Be right back. Okay.
So for those of you guys who are joining, this is Rebekah Radice. Out in the California area. She is an award-winning social media writer. We're getting a little bit to know about her. We're just going to double check, Tony. Hoping it wasn't mine.
All right. How is that?
It's good, and it's snowing in the room now.
Yeah, we are getting unbelievable rain today.
Oh, really?
So just crazy weather. So I'm sure that has something to do with it. But anyway, all of that to say that this perfect opportunity of working with the amazing team over at Better Homes and Gardens transpired. And I did that for just about 2 years. And again, realized that was about all I could take in the corporate world.
Mm-hmm. After being on your own, it's like, whoa.
It's hard. It's really hard, but it was a phenomenal experience.
There's somebody above me watching.
Right, exactly. And I went back and started my own company again. And then it's been an amazing journey, I have to say, through all of it. I have just met so many incredible people. I partnered up with 3 different people a couple of years ago when we started a digital agency. And so I'm a partner in that, but have very little, I guess, day-to-day management in that. Most of my energy and attention is focused on 2 different places these days, which is Post Planner.
Right.
Which is a social media management app, getting to work with their amazing team, and then coaching and consulting. So those are 2 really my areas where I'm spending the majority of my time these days.
Plus flying around and doing those photo shoots and videos.
Yes. And speaking, I do quite a bit of that, doing a whole lot more this year. So yeah, I just, like I said, I think I've been very, very blessed in the life I have gotten to lead and how many, just different experiences I've had, how many different people I've been able to work with, and how funny it is. And I'm sure you look back on all of your experiences too, to see how every single one really led me to exactly where I am today. Being in radio, people ask me all the time, how did radio prepare you for social media? And it's like, holy cow, how many ways
exactly
can I count that it prepared me? And being in the mortgage and real estate industry where 98% of what you do is customer service.
Correct.
It's just that one-on-one and taking care of people. And so all of that to, bring me.
And isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting full circle? You started out with as the radio personality and everything else. And look where we're doing this now.
Right.
We're all of a sudden now, because of live streaming.
Yeah.
All the radio personalities from past have come back because of whatever business they're into now, have the ability now to be broadcasting again.
Right. And we all started with podcasting because that felt totally normal, to us. And for me, I've always, I love video. So it was just a natural progression into that.
And just so you know, you're getting a lot of love, I'm noticing in the chat, especially on the female side, because they are saying they're getting so inspired by another female entrepreneur that is succeeding.
Wendy.
Wendy said that. I saw Grateful Tony wrote it, that you're an inspiration, and it's funny because I've known you obviously now. We figured it out 7 years. We knew it was a while, but and you with your writing, that's the part that amazes me. I mean, here you are on the radio side, and then you went into mortgage and you went into real estate and you with social media, but you started that blog back in 2004. Yeah.
And who knew what that would turn into? At the time it was just, hey, I'm going to jump on and play around and see how this goes. And my first blog was, I think, I can't remember the number, but it was like the 50 things I'm most grateful for.
Right.
It was sometime around Thanksgiving, I remember. And I look at that now in the experience of how much I learned over the years, just from that blogging aspect, and how fortunate I am to have really created that solid foundation for me with my website and my blog. So my RebekahRadice.com is what I started in 2004. I branched out into multiple different directions, but it has stuck with me, through.
So do you remember what your first blog was actually about?
That was the one. That
was it?
Yeah. About the 50 things I'm most grateful for.
That's
funny. I know. Kind of.
Be an interesting article. You bring that up, and now you write 50 things you're grateful for now, and compare it to the other one in a blog.
What's interesting? I just started over on Medium, starting to get involved in that community over there. And I was going through some old blog posts, and that was one that came up that I started to look at, and I'm like, this is so great because it's totally still relevant to my life, which was awesome. But yes, it's fun to look back and see how much has changed.
So with the last year, let's just talk 2015.
Yeah.
I call it the roller coaster year because with social media, it has probably been the most wildest ride I have ever seen in the past 7 to 10 years, because everybody, I'm talking Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, they all had to come out at different times of year, and then throw live streaming in for all new stuff. They all had to keep coming out with something new and better. It was like a roller coaster all year long, and you, me, and other people that we know trying to keep up with it, with the changes.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you feel about 2015? I mean, because I remember actually messaging you saying, Rebekah, get on Periscope.
And I said, I don't like it.
And I was doing it to you and to Katie and to Deborah. And Katie, I busted her butt for 2 weeks, and then she got on, and then she couldn't get off.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I still struggle with Periscope, and I'll tell you why. I was a huge Google Hangout, from the first days. Absolutely love, love, love Hangouts. And this is very similar to a Hangout. What I love is this interaction. I love the collaboration. I love getting inspired by those conversations with other people. And Meerkat and Periscope, now even with Facebook Live, I've had that for months and haven't touched it, Robert. I know, shame on me, right?
I've done 3. I've only had it 2 weeks. And
now
there's a new one out that just came out 2 days ago that I think is going to be amazing.
What do you? Oh, I don't even think I've seen that.
Just got announced.
One more thing.
Just got announced 2 days ago, and they're making a major announcement about it tomorrow at CES.
Oh, very cool.
So and that's the thing. There's a Fire Talk and Maya, and it's like one after the other. I do know of 2 others that are coming out in the next couple of months because they've contacted me to beta it and everything. And it's just.
And I think, to your point, there's something that works for everybody. Whatever medium it is, whatever even live streaming platform it is, there's one that it can work, no matter your personality. And it's amazing to me to watch what people have done with Periscope and just exploded their careers because of live streaming. And you're absolutely right.
I got it on March 26th, and I was like nonstop from that point on. And it was just like, oh my God, it's like people following me and how can I work with you? And I'm just like, wait, this is getting too easy. I'm like, what's going on here? It's like, I just come on and give out information, and they liked it.
Yeah.
And it was, great. It shortened the blow of making a relationship because it was live.
For sure. Yeah.
How long it took people to get to know each other on a Facebook or a Twitter or something else. So, and I do see Ross Brand is in there, and he put the article in that we're both in, that with our predictions. Awesome. We were both listed.
Yes.
So, Ross is out here in Jersey. I know. It's funny. Ross and I met on live streaming, and we still have met to meet in person for a cup of coffee or something, and he's probably 20 minutes from me.
Oh, how funny. Isn't that just the way it goes? Yeah.
So we had craziness in 2015, video in the beginning of the year with Facebook going against YouTube and Twitter expanding their DMs to more. And I just saw an article today, which I hope is not true, in the Red Code, that Twitter is now looking at possibly expanding their tweet character count.
Yes, I saw that too.
And I'm not too happy about that because I think it'll cause more. I actually think it'll cause more issues than it will good things. So what do you see for 2016? I mean, let's backtrack 1 second. You made a career out of blogging. I mean, you've won some awards. You've been in the top 50 or 100 blogs a couple of times in those years. I remember.
Top 10.
Yeah, I remember nominating and hitting the thing for you and, and all that stuff. And I'm curious, how important today, with the way social media has expanded into so many different areas now, with live streaming, with the Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all this stuff. How important do you think blogging is today versus when it was earlier?
Oh, I think it's more important than ever. Content marketing it's everything when it comes to marketing in our world today. For me, it's a foundational piece. It's critical that as a business, you are establishing your own voice. You are getting out there and really presenting your ideas in a leadership type way. And I think, obviously it creates enormous differentiation between companies, but to not be creating your own content is detrimental to companies at this point. Whether you are just still, back to the original text-based blog posts, or you're doing videos and you're embedding those. no matter the type of content, it could be a podcast that you're embedding, you need to be creating your own content. And I think it's going to become more and more important as companies, as the year progresses. But, for me, yeah, it's been incredibly important. And you can definitely see the companies that started off many years ago, they got a nice boost in just the amount of interaction that they were able to gain, the subscribers, the awareness. But from that awareness building and that relationship building opportunity, creating your content is the only way to do it.
Okay. I'm going to ask one of the questions because it didn't go with the queue. KK, which is Good Mom's Guide. She's out of London, England. She wanted to know, Rebekah Radice, do you think companies should outsource their blog posts?
That's a great question. And, it's going to be a different answer depending on the scalability of your team and how much time do you actually have. And I ask people all the time about blogging, whether it's blogging or social media, do you have more time or more money? Because if you don't have the time and if blogging is not a strength, if it's something you don't enjoy, it's not just going to miraculously happen. It's going to become heavy and burdensome and you're going to hate it. And it's going to end up being something you don't stick with. So for those people that don't enjoy writing or managing a blog, because it's an enormous commitment too. There's so much to it. You do need to find that right person, that person that you really vet, you really trust. You've gone through their writing. You feel as if it's very on brand for your company, and you're comfortable with not only the way they write, but the way they're presenting that content. And you're also going to have to make sure that they really understand the marketing process, the marketing funnel, and how your content rolls up into everything else that you're doing within your company so that it's supporting your overall goals. So yeah, I have no problems with outsourcing. I just think you have to be really, really careful that you're picking the right person for so many different reasons. We've seen over the years all of the issues with and for whatever reason, people still seem to think that it's okay swiping other people's content and claiming it as their own, or swiping significant pieces of other people's content. And that's why I say, you really have to take the time and find that right person that has the experience, has the years of experience in writing, is very comfortable in writing those longer form pieces, which we know is really what you need to be putting out there these days. And it's going to be self-motivated, self-driven to produce the level of content and the amount of content that you're going to need to really make it worth your while.
So for people that wanted to, let's say, that are not blogging, a lot of people, when I do my coaching and stuff like that, and I say, do you have a blog? No. And I'll say, why? I don't know what to write about. That's probably the number one I get. I don't know what you hear a lot of times, or I don't have enough time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's the same thing with social media. It's always, okay, I get that I should be writing or blogging, and I get that I should be on Facebook or Twitter. But what the heck do I talk about? And my number one answer is you have everything you need right at your fingertips. So no matter what type of industry you're in, no matter what niche, vertical, you have been answering questions for people your entire career. So think about your frequently asked questions, because as you can imagine, if one person has that question, a million others are searching for that question. That could become an entire series, just one answer to one question for a blog. And so really just start to think about, first of all, what are the struggles that go on in your client's life every single day? What are they dealing with? What is the reason that they are seeking you out? What brings them to your doorstep, per se? And then start to think about all of those different questions that they have, those solutions that you provide, the problems that you solve. And pretty quickly, you'll start to see, oh my goodness, I'm a wealth of information. I've got all this right up here. And I think we get so wound tight in, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to write about. But it's really quite simple when you start to look at all that you've done within your career. And maybe you've only been doing it for a year. But think about then, if you've only been doing it for a short amount of time, all the research you did, all the questions you had, all of that research that you went out there looking for. And how many times did you go and look for a solution to something and you couldn't find a good answer? Well, be that answer. That's where you start to figure out there are big holes, within my market. There's needs that aren't being fulfilled, and you can start to really craft your content around that. But, again, I could just go back to just keep it simple. Just think about, what are those answers that you're giving people every single day? And then how can you flesh those out into a blog post and really help people better understand who you are, your methodology, your thought process, how you do things, give them better insight into who you are as a person, as a company, so that when they finally start to do a little bit more digging on you, they're already feeling as if they know you. You're already building that bridge between you,
building
your
a relationship.
Company. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And David Vaughn said in the chat, and it's really a good one because I did it in the real estate industry when I was blogging. Talk about your frequently asked questions in your industry of your niche.
Yeah.
Whatever
exactly.
there are certain questions we get over and over. And every time you speak to a new client, you keep getting those same questions. Well, those are great blog posts because then they go to your blog and they don't have to ask you that question because you've already answered it.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. And so it's doing exactly what social media is for us today, which is just allowing us to dig deeper, go deeper with our potential clients, those customers that are out there doing a whole lot of research on us prior to them ever reaching out. So why not allow them to better understand, as I said, who you are and what makes you different. So really come at it from that point of view too of, probably the other question I get a lot is, well, I'm in an industry that's not very sexy. It's just not very exciting to talk about. And to that, I say, you know what? We can make anything sexy. Anything is interesting to the right person. So if you just focus on, who you're talking with, who you want to have that conversation with, then again, I go back to all of a sudden you can start to really generate those ideas if you put yourself in their shoes of what would I be looking for? What am I Googling when I'm searching for Robert? What is it that I would be typing into Google? Well, that becomes your blog post.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like you made that statement, we can make anything look good and sexy. And it's really, you think about all the surveys that are always out there about food. Are eggs healthy? Are eggs not healthy? Well, it depends who did what study and who did what and how they wrote it. And some people feel it's okay to have them and some people don't. So it's your blog becomes your version of make it sexy. Give the information out of what you think. I say that a lot of times also in coaching and when I speak is that you need to speak to and speak with, I like to use the word with a lot of times, your clients, your audience, your community, whatever word you want to use, but you want to talk to them about what they want to listen to, not what you want to talk about.
And there is the key, isn't it? Yes. In fact, Laura Williams just said that. She said, I think the key is as a writer or having a writer that understands your mission and your voice. And that it's so critical that you
know your audience.
You do. You take the time to really understand what their needs are, and then become that resource, that person that gives them, and just day in and day out exactly what they're looking for.
Once a month, I actually put posts out, and I don't always do it on Facebook, or I'll do it on Periscope, and I will actually ask the people that are in the room, and I'll say, I'm coming up with some things to do this week or this month. What do you want to learn about? Because if they give me the answers in a blog or anything else, I know they want to find out that answer. So we know they're going to come back and read it or listen or go to the post or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And that's such a great point, because Roy just said listening is the best way to get the frequently asked questions and the pain points, and ask those questions and then listen. Yep. And actually listen. And that's our biggest challenge today, right? Is we're on to that next step.
Ears,
we've already
double at a time.
Yeah, so true.
A couple of these questions. Laura had what did you say?
That was the one that I just read. Yeah.
Well,
asked, how far in advance do you create your content?
Now this kind of goes into a little bit of your newest version of what you're doing, because you are now involved, obviously, with Post Planner with, if I'm not mistaken, Diana.
Yes, Adams Consulting, who is here.
Yep. And that's a great question, because how far do you personally do it, and what do you see with Post Planner, how people are using it?
Yeah, I'll tell you, for me, so I'll answer this a couple of different ways. Obviously, it's going to depend on how big of a team you have, how much content you're creating. So how large are your campaigns, and how far out are you going to need to plan? But for the most part, whether you're at the corporate level all the way down, 90 days is really as far out as you can go and remain agile. And by that, I mean, you can plan further out. You can go 120. We were planning a full year at Better Homes and Gardens. But what you have a tough time doing at that level is moving and shifting and bringing new things in. And Post Planner being, we're a bootstrap startup. And so we are just moving at 100 miles per hour every single day. I think Diana's hair was on fire today. It's just,
I would have paid to see that. Diana, I would have paid to see that.
It just happens every single day. And I would imagine that most people that are here, watching are probably the exact same way. And so 90 days to me is very safe in that it allows you to look at, what are those big objectives I have that I want to ensure we meet in January, in February, in March. And then how do they support all those other little things I'm going to be doing throughout that? So, maybe I have a couple other campaigns. Maybe I have, a speaking event. All of those should be worked into that. And then they should be put into a calendar. And we just use, and I've always used, Google Calendar. To me, it's the absolute easiest way to collaborate. I gotta plug
myself now. You realize that. On my website, there is a downloadable free content planning calendar. It is dated. It has the holidays on it. And it's set up color-coded week by week. So if you want to go to thesocialleader.us, you can get it free. I set it up actually about a month before the new year, because I know so many people, and it's a great question that she brought up. How many times, and you've probably seen it when you've spoken with clients with your business, and when you're starting with the smaller clients too, the individual sole proprietors and entrepreneurs that are working by themselves. And literally they get up in the morning, and the first 2 hours of the day, they're like, oh, I got to post on social media today. What should I post?
Right.
And I figured out on an average, I've been looking at it. In fact, on an average, I think the ones that are doing that are probably spending an extra 5 to 8 hours a week more than they should be. And I'm sitting there going, what would you be doing if you could save that 5 to 8 hours if you were planning ahead?
Yeah, well, and planning ahead, it gives you that freedom to be strategic. It gives you the freedom to really act on purpose within all of your content marketing, all of your inbound marketing efforts. And it frees you up from that burden of, oh my gosh, I just rolled out of bed and I've got to post on Instagram, or I got to post on Facebook, or I've got to come up with something witty to say on Twitter. And instead really planning ahead. And a tool like Post Planner, I was sharing with somebody just this morning. He had asked, all right, so tell me from an entrepreneur's point of view, or, a business owner's point of view, what is the absolute best thing about Post Planner? And that was my exact comment back to him, is it gives you back your time. Because instead of randomly jumping all over and trying to find content, we've done all of that work for you. All of that content that's already performed, that's already been viral across social media, has already been brought in, gone through our algorithm. You already know how popular it's been, and you already know then, based off of that, how it's going to perform on Facebook, on Twitter. And instead of bouncing around, as I said, and spending maybe an hour or 2 hours trying to find that content and then upload that content and then maybe create images for that content, it's all right there. And you just click on share and you drop it in there.
I was going to say, even if they don't want to use the exact content, it could spur an idea for you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, most definitely.
Because I've done that a lot with Post Planner. I've done that where I go on and I go, oh, wow, that's kind of cool. It's going viral. But something, instead of doing it that way, maybe if I put a different spin on it.
Yeah.
But I'm getting the same message and being unique and not being, because, the multi-level marketers are the best. I love multi-level marketing. But when the corporation comes out with their posts to give everybody, and then 300,000 people all start posting the same exact meme, and it's all over Facebook, it's kind of like, now it's the noise. Everybody's got the same thing. So what I started
and
doing,
that's a great point.
And what I started doing with some memes now, hey, we got these great cameras on our phones now. And when I'm out and about, I take pictures. You do it all the time. I see it with the palm tree and the beautiful sunset and
oh yeah,
and I won't leave out girl. And I won't leave out your little four-legged child.
Yes, two of them.
I know. You and Deborah.
I know.
Excuse me, but I'll take a picture and I'll take one of those quotes that's out there and I'll put it on my own picture. Because for two things, it's unique. And I don't have to worry about, a lot of people go on Google and go look up quote pictures and they get the picture and they put it up. Well, you got to be careful about some of that stuff because some of that stuff is technically copyrighted. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. You do definitely need to source anything that you're sharing. But look at Kim Garst is a terrific example of how to use Post Planner in that way. So, she's got a team, obviously, but as a business owner, you can do the same exact thing. You can come in, you can get inspired by these great quotes that have gone out across social media. But instead of sharing the same old thing that everybody else is, why not? We've got Canva integration, so you can just drop it right into Canva. You can brand that to your company. You can give attribution to, whoever actually said that quote or whoever shared that in the first place, but still raise awareness around your company by using your company colors, by using your own font, by
the logo on it.
Your logo, right? Exactly. So there's just a lot of different ways that, you can create that differentiation, really stand out in the noise, as you said. But get inspired creatively, because I know we all hit those days where it's like, okay, brain,
what do I do?
No more ideas. So, I think we all need that little spark everywhere we can get it.
All right, so Ross wants to know, are there some of the major social networks or the prominent second tier ones that you don't use to save time or because you just don't enjoy them? That's an interesting way he phrased that you don't enjoy them, because I have a counter on that question. It's you better be on all your social networks that your possible clients are. Not that if I don't enjoy it. I mean, there's a couple I don't enjoy, but I got to be on them.
Yeah, well, and that's really it. I think the answer to that is exactly what you said. Know where your customers are hanging out, and then be there without fail, day in and day out. The horrible mailman is here, Robert. So I'm sorry if my dogs are barking.
Oh, I didn't even.
How terrible that mailman is every day.
It could have been Raina in the other room. I've learned to. God, when I met you, Raina was 2.
Oh my goodness, that is just crazy.
I was just thinking that. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, but it's where they need to. You need to be where they are.
That's right.
But they're not coming to you.
That's right. And I, that's another question that people ask all the time too, which is how many different social networks do I need to be on? And I would start, if you're just dipping your toe in, start with one. Facebook obviously is still the big boy on the block. More than likely your audience is hanging out there. Get comfortable with it. Really master Facebook before moving on to the next one. But yeah, it really has nothing to do with us, has nothing to do with our comfort level or whether or not we want to be there. If your audience is there, you do need to have a presence. And I've worked very hard to be very diversified in my social media presence. I got in, hot and heavy, as I talked about with, Google Plus when it first came out, Hangouts, Instagram, love, love, love. Now I'm a little bit addicted to Instagram, I would say. But there are still plenty. Snapchat, not something I have jumped into because it's not where I see the audience that I'm looking to connect with is really spending their time. Now, does that mean that it's not something that, we will evolve into that for me? It most certainly could. But right now it's still an emerging market, in my opinion, still an emerging social network.
Do you see who's pushing it real hard now? Gary Vee.
Oh, no kidding.
He's all over Snapchat.
Snapchat's awesome for those that are really on there and making the most of it. Subi Zimmerman is doing a ton over there. Yep. I have so many good friends that have just totally embraced it. I think it's fantastic. It's like, anything else. Get in on the ground floor and hit the ground running. Exactly. But yeah, I think the most important thing is just know where your audience is and then spend your time there, because if you're over on Snapchat, but your audience is really on Facebook, you're going to have a tough time.
And David said it best. Get super uncomfortable or risk being stagnant.
There you go. Love it.
I like that statement. I like that one.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to jump in, I know Tony, I don't know if you're still in the room. Grateful Tony wanted to ask you a question personally. She didn't want to put it up there. I don't know why. So if she's still here, I don't know if she is, but if anybody else wants to jump in, let's see. What did James ask? With all you do, how do you balance career and family?
Oh, I love that question.
James.
That's a great question, James, and great to see you. That's a tough one. I'll be honest, I struggle with it every single day. But the bottom line is I make my family a priority. Family comes before anything else. And you have to make a commitment, just like anything else, just like your business, that you're going to take time off, that you're going to do those things that really feed your soul, that really keep you creative. I noticed we have just an unbelievable team, the most incredible group of people I've ever worked with over at Post Planner. And that's a hard thing to say after Better Homes and Gardens, because they were just phenomenal and such a talented group. But Post Planner, the level of commitment, we were all able to take off and really enjoy the holidays. And as an entrepreneur, I'm sure you can appreciate taking 4 days off. It's like, what? In what world is this happening?
Yes.
And taking off is probably a little strong because, you know, you're all still around and there's support in so many other
you
areas.
Still got your phone.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's so important to disconnect and allow yourself to do those things, you know, get outside, go to the beach for me, you know, get out with my dogs, go to breakfast with my husband, sit and just enjoy a cup of coffee, go have a glass of wine, and take the time to do those because it's very, very easy for our day to get away from us. And so don't get me wrong. I find myself more times than I'd like to admit, sitting at my computer still at 9 o'clock at night. But the bottom line is, you have to control your day because as the saying goes, if you don't control your day will control you. And that goes, you know, the same for your weeks, your months, your year. And I think this time of the year is a great place. I'm not a believer in resolutions, never been a fan. I am a big believer in intentions and in setting your intent for the year. And so I really spend my time being intentional at the end of every year of where do I want to be both personally and professionally by the end of the year. At the end of the year, when I look back, what will I say? Wow, I feel like that was just, you know, what an accomplishment this was, and this was, and this was. And personal is as big for me in that as professional is. And, you know, so I think it's just, you find balance in making a commitment to being there and being active when you're there and really being present. That was a big thing for me several years ago as I really lost my balance as I was growing my business. And you can ask my husband, he'll tell you all day long, but I'm totally transparent when it comes to that. But, you know, I had to come back and find my center. And the only way you can do that is to really map it out for yourself and be very clear in where you intend on placing your time, both personally and professionally, how much time you're going to give to your profession every single day. And then just stick like that. Force yourself to get off that computer, force yourself to walk away, force yourself to get outside, force yourself to do those things that, as I said, really feed your soul and give you back your creativity. At least that's what it gives back to me, where I can start to feel pretty tapped out and tired and exhausted. And I think we all get there where you can feel that. Definitely. And know that, yeah, it's time to walk away.
Take a break. KK, how are you, KK?
I'm a little tired. I'm out here in London. It's 11:47. So.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So Mr. Stern keeps me excited about so many shows he does, and so when he said he was having you on, I thought I had to come on here, and kind of, I guess, really where I'm at with the whole social media thing is, you know, this is completely new for me in a sense that my career was in the music business for over 20 years. And so we weren't really doing a lot of social media. Ours was, you know, out doing the gigs, doing the live performances and everything. So I've kind of left that industry, and here I am and done 2 books, etc. But what I'm interested in is the whole blogging aspect. And I don't know, 10 minutes ago or so, you said that blogging is still very important. And I've been kind of toying with this idea as a writer, as someone wanting to get my brand out there, my message out there. But I'm feeling like I try to remind myself, I say, okay, KK, pretend like you're 21 years old and you're going out here for the first time. So I'm just moving full steam ahead, and just wanted to know if there was any, you know, kind of, any extra that you can give a new person who's wanting to get out there and do it, and how do you go about doing that?
Yeah, I guess that's a tough place to start for anybody, is just where do you begin? And so did you say, I might have missed it, did you say, do you have a blog now? Are you doing any of that anywhere?
I'm not blogging. I'm on Blab, just kind of starting out in Blab, a handful of shows.
But not on
Twitter,
Medium
Facebook. I am on Medium. What am I saying? See, I'm tired. Someone's been keeping me up.
Yeah.
But,
sorry, my shows are,
yeah. Anyways, but yes, so I am on Medium. So I put some content on there.
Yeah. But really,
but I need to go where do I go?
You need to own your own space, is what I hear you saying. And I would completely agree with that. To me, believing that the Mediums of the world or the Facebooks of the world are going to be around forever, and building your house, your business on that is like building your house on quicksand, because it can be pulled out from you so quickly. So for me, WordPress is just such a simple way to get yourself up and running. It's if you've built out your brand already, it's as easy as purchasing your domain. And if you don't know anything about WordPress, there are so many super talented people that can help. And I'm sure between Robert and I, we could refer you to a whole bunch. But that's the simplest way. You could truly get up and running in less than 24 hours.
Well, interesting that you say that. Is a couple of years ago, I went through a very tough period where I had to use a walking stick, a cane to walk, and I was on that for about a year. And I did put something, it was a WordPress thing, and I was able to walk again properly. So I stopped doing that. But it's been kind of playing on my mind of how important the blog is now that I'm going in a totally different direction in my life. So you have answered that question, and that's
you should do
definitely going to inspire me.
Just listening to you have an amazing story to tell. And
well, you don't even know half of it, Rebecca.
But you need to do it.
Yeah, the trials and tribulations.
Story. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, but I just wanted to jump in and say thank you. I'm going to keep the jump off. And I'm gonna stay here for a little bit, and then I'm gonna see somebody else in another show on Blab. But this has just been super awesome, and I'm gonna watch the replay.
Oh, KK, it was great to meet you. I'm gonna definitely connect with you. I look forward to you sending me your first blog post.
Okay, I think Robert's gonna make sure that happens. He's awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. And I just need the gratitude coach. You're just awesome too. I'll let you guys go.
Thank you so much. Oh, nice to meet you.
Thank you. You're welcome. No problem. Bye-bye.
Tony.
Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Robert. How are you guys?
Tony, how are you?
Tony was
so
like
nice
at 7:15. I mean, at like 6:15. She's like, Robert, can I jump in with a question real quick? I was like, just give me a little time.
Not yet.
She was like so excited to talk to you.
I am. I'm a big fan of yours, and I'm so excited. I'm a big fan of Robert's too. So it was cool to see that you're going to be on here, and you're just such an inspiration to a lot of women entrepreneurs that are. I'm just starting out, so I'm like, oh, I have so many questions. I'm like chomping at the bit just to. First of all, I also love pumpkin ice cream.
Oh, anything pumpkin. I
Yes,
tell
me
you,
too.
I am pumpkin-aholic. Yeah. In fact, I tried something new this year. I don't know. Where did you say you were located?
Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you have Trader Joe's in Philadelphia,
Yes.
but they have you tried their pumpkin O's that are like Cheerios?
No.
Holy cow. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
they're
boy.
I
great.
see a
I
blog
have tried.
post.
Yes.
I know. I keep telling my husband we need to start our foodie blog because we just go, crazy over all of the great food here in the LA area. But I don't know if I could talk about pumpkin O's on my foodie blog.
Oh, you can make it sound sexy. We said that already.
Oh, yes. Definitely. So my question to you, two questions. First of all, what would you say to women entrepreneurs? Like, what would you say is the biggest mistake that you see women making that maybe you've made mistakes that you've made when you were just starting out that, the advice that you can give to people just starting out?
Wow. That there's so many that go through my head, but I would say The number one struggle I see with women is not believing in yourself, not believing that you know everything you need to know right now to do everything you need to do within your business. I think as women, we always think, if I just take one more class, or if I just learn one more thing, or if I just do one more thing, I'll be XYZ. Instead of realizing that you're everything you need, and everything you have within your life right now, it has totally equipped you. It's kind of what I was talking about at the beginning, where it's amazing the experiences we go through, that bring you to the place that you're in. And so I would just say, I would encourage every woman to own your space, own what you know, and give yourself that greatest gift I think we can give ourselves, which is the belief in yourself that you can do anything you set your mind to. That, your business is going to succeed because it's got you. Because you have worked how many ever years to get to the point where you are today, learning. You've been a sponge of just soaking up everything that's out there. And now you get the opportunity to take that and be a blessing to other people, where you get to share everything that you've learned over those years. And that, far and away, I think we stand in our own way all the time, just not firmly entrenched in the belief that everything we need, we have.
Now, I just want to add one thing that doesn't only go for women.
Really? You think men struggle with that as well?
I think men that start their own business. If they start on their own and they have their own business, I mean, I broke out on my own, and trust me, it was a struggle in the beginning. Especially when you got a lot of negative people around you that say, why are you starting a business in a recession?
Well, you do. You have to be very, very careful in who you surround yourself with and who you get that feedback from, because there's always going to be naysayers. And unfortunately, a lot of times they can be your great friends or your family that are,
definitely.
What are you thinking? What are you doing? So surround yourselves with, those people that are going to help you take a critical look, really take a good hard look at the reality of the situation, but are also going to be incredibly supportive in pushing you towards your goals. And we all have to have those people. And I think 2013 through 15 has been those years for me where I've built up those relationships to those friendships that are so important. And I think that's especially true for women. We need other women that support us, that get what we're going through, that get, that we're a wife, that we're a mother, that we have to, get all of those sandwiches made in the morning and get the kids out the door and get them, picked up and juggle everything else. Not to say that there's not men that deal with the same exact issues. But I think, you need to surround yourself with those women that are dealing with the same thing every single day that you are, and have those same aspirations that you do, and can really be that support, especially on those days, because goodness knows we all have them, where it's like, what am I doing this for? Why am I killing myself? And so you have those women that you can either pick up the phone or you can reach out to, I know I talk about this, Peg and I both talk about this, but Peg Fitzpatrick for me is that person. We created this relationship online, met each other, we can't even remember now, 5-6 years ago. And it has evolved into just this amazing friendship. And we are back and forth all day on, I'm working on this project. Can you take a look and just give me a second opinion? Or I'm thinking about making this big decision and I really need to talk it through. So we all need those people, no matter what stage you're in, that they encourage you, they challenge you, they pull you along on those days where you're struggling, and they remind you of why you're doing what you're doing.
Tony, you said you had a second one. You're muted.
Nope.
Oh, no, you don't have a second question? You don't have a second question?
I do have a second question.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Real quick, and then I'll let Tim talk. That was great, Rebekah. I love that answer and those ideas. They're really helpful. My second question kind of leads into what you were saying, and that is, how do you find the right partner so that you aren't so alone and you're not feeling so isolated as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think it's just in the interaction where I started to see those relationships really blossom is when I allowed myself to really kind of put myself out there. I'm by nature, fairly guarded person. It's very hard for me to talk about my personal life, which might seem ridiculous if you follow me on social media. But it's very difficult for me to talk too much about my life. I feel like, well, how boring. I don't want to bore people to death with what's going on in my world. And I think as women, we do that too, where we get so caught up in our own world that we forget that there's other things happening around us. And so I would just say be on the lookout for, 1, 2, maybe 3 people that you see them tweeting or you see them talking on Facebook and you think, you know what, that just really resonates with me, or that makes sense, or, oh my gosh, I've done that same exact thing, and start to interact, start to have those conversations with them that allows you to get to know each other a little bit better. And from there, it's taking, that next step. It's all kind of similar to the dating process, where you're getting to know each other, you're kind of feeling each other out, and do we have enough things in common that I want to take that next step, and then take it offline, do a hangout or get on Skype and just learn more about that person and their business and how you can support them. And I'll tell you, it's a natural evolution from there. Especially with women, I can't speak as much to, how that works with men, Robert, but I know you and Tim probably can. But, with women, I think you figured it out pretty quickly.
You just picked the 2 that talk to each other all the time. That do. Him and I do that all the time. We're texting.
If you were going to pick 2 guys who are closest to talking like women, it's us 2.
That is hilarious. I love it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to jump out, but thank you so much, Rebekah. It was so nice meeting you. Keep doing what you're doing because you're such an inspiration, and I love reading everything you're doing. So thanks for having me, Robert.
Take care, Tony. I'll talk to you soon.
See your face, Tony. Hey, buddy.
Good. How you doing, sir?
I'm good.
I'm going to have to run in just a couple of minutes, so I apologize.
No, it's okay. We're going to have to do another one another time. Because you got a chat room that's going.
With Roberts, if you don't block out the 2-hour time frame, that's the way it goes with him.
I know. He's such a talker. Just blah, blah, blah.
He's got a list of people who want to know. And when you bring an interesting topic in, we all want to know. So.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that because hopefully, yes, it's been a really interesting topic. But, it's funny. I don't even think we set out to talk about blogging, and that's kind of what it's turned into, which is fun.
Now, why do you think I stayed tuned in?
Yeah, I love it. I could talk about that all day long, obviously.
Do you know Tim at all? Or because
yes, we have interacted. I know Tim. I have seen you. I want to say on Twitter, but no, we have never actually met face to face.
Okay,
not talked to face. I've seen your name though too.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Because I didn't know if Tim had a question. Because Tim actually's business is about he helps people coaching on blogs.
Yeah,
oh,
blogging and branding.
right,
Mainly I work with coaches and speakers, and I'll help you find your personal story and then learn how to blog about it.
Oh my goodness, I love that. That's awesome.
And I was like, wow, what a because you've been blogging, obviously since it really started, and your blogs are amazing. So that's why I was like, I didn't know if Tim had any questions. That's why I was wondering if you wanted to jump.
Not really questions. I kind of wanted to back up what she said about some of the stuff I'm blogging. So I mean, I just got to agree with you on a lot of it. You know what I mean? And I know it's always good when someone comes in and starts talking about a subject and you go off, to have someone come in and go, yeah, they're 100% right. And then you find out that's their genre. That's what they do. That's their expertise. And it's like, if I were to say something about social media and then Robert pops in and goes, oh yeah, that's exactly, he's right on target. It makes you feel like, oh great, I guess that all those mistakes I've been making are finally paying off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Well, how long has your blog been around, Tim?
Right.
Since 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a long time.
So I'm 5-6 years now.
You're like an old man in the.
And that's what gets me is I feel like people say you're an old man, but I know people blogging since the early 2000s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I wonder who that could be,
Yeah.
Rebekah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's always time to get on board and to jump in. And you're doing exactly that, which I love, that you help people find their story, because that's a tough one. In fact, I just got done writing one of my probably most personal blog posts. I let my team read it. I haven't let anybody else read it yet.
Diana, can you send that to me?
Which talks about my journey as far as blogging and finding my own voice. And for me, I think it was a little bit different. That's a whole other topic in and of itself, in just how to, really find that place that you feel comfortable with every single day, talking about, and that feels authentic to you, that really resonates with people. So I think you're doing an enormous service for people, Tim, because I think that's a big place where you get stuck. It's not just that I don't know what to write about. It's I don't know how to write something and get it out of my head and onto paper in a way that really sounds like something I would say, that sounds true to me.
We do in our workshop where we actually get people to blog for the first time. We get them to set the whole blog up, and then I pick a random topic like, tell me about the first time you read Green Eggs and Ham. And they can, they start thinking, and it's just write it. Doesn't matter what it sounds like, just write it.
Yeah.
And and then I realized that's all you're doing is you're telling us your story, just like you told the first time you read Green Eggs and Ham.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then I make them push the button and post it right away.
Oh, I love it.
Them, they go,
yep.
And I'm like, you're doing so much by pushing that button and hitting the post. And they're like, but it's about green eggs and ham, It's like,
that's funny. One of the earlier articles I wrote, that was one of my most popular early articles, was something about facing the big F, which is fear. And fear as a writer can be debilitating. It can be so overwhelming I just don't even think about it these days of hitting publish. But when you're first starting out, it is the scariest thing in the world to say, all right, world, here's my thoughts, here's my ideas. And don't get me wrong, I still do that. From a writing level, from a speaking level, every single time. I think you will always have that little bit of, what if I put this out there and people don't like it, or, they disagree, or they hate it. And now I'm like, that's great. We all have different opinions. But when you're first starting out, you've really got to push yourself through that, or you can end before you start.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm that way with books. I just committed on a radio show today. I'd have a book out by March 15th.
Love it. That's awesome.
All right, so last question, because I know you got to get going. What area do you think, if somebody asked you right now, and it's open not by industry, but what platform do you think is the most important for 2015? If their customers are there in general. So which do you think is the biggest platform for 2015 right now? 16.
For 16?
Yeah.
I still think it's Facebook, because for the majority, they're going to find their audience on Facebook. I think we are still in that situation where people are comfortable with Facebook. They've been on it for quite some time. They understand it. And it's a daily habit. They're going there already on a daily basis. So for a lot of people, there's no sense in trying to move that audience off of Facebook and onto a different platform. So, just from a numbers scenario as well as comfort level, Facebook is still my number one. And it wasn't for a while there. There was definitely a time where Facebook fell way down on the list. But I think when you look at, an entrepreneur, a small business owner, realistically, it's definitely where people are still spending their time.
Okay. Well, I put your link in there, RebekahRadice.com, if they want to get a hold of you and see all your information. And
Robert, for as long as you've known me, I'm going to correct you. It's Radice.
Oh, God.
And it does not bother me because nobody gets it right. It's Radice, it's Radish. So you're all good.
I'm not calling you Becky.
Oh, no. No.
What'd you say,
We don't
Tim?
do that.
What'd you say, Tim?
Mine's a popular household name, and people call up all the time, and you can tell they're the fake salespeople, Mr. Gullett.
How funny. Yeah.
Like,
Isn't that
apparently you got a
hilarious?
razor there, buddy.
That's awesome.
And for anybody else, I put mine in there. If you want to see that calendar, you can download it free. It's thesocialleader.us. Rebekah, I cannot thank you enough.
My pleasure.
We're going to have to do it again because an hour is just not enough with you.
I know, it never is. We could just chat. But speaking of, I got to go get ready for my chat. So I would love to see everybody over there at
today's Tuesday.
It is,
8
yes,
o'clock.
with Andrea and Diana Adams. Yeah,
that's right. I forgot. I will be on it tonight. I've been on a few of them, but I will definitely join it. What's tonight's subject?
I got to go get my tweet on. We're actually talking about the new year. So
okay, great.
Really, getting your strategy set, your mindset, everything ready for 2016. Yeah. Perfect.
I put it in there. It's hashtag influencer chat tonight on Twitter. It's at 8 o'clock Eastern.
Thank you.
And I will see you there.
You got it. All right. Tim, great to meet you.
Good to meet you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.